I've been using the ZenBook Duo for a while now.
And I've been using the ZenBook Pro Duo for a week or two.
Yeah.
So here is our review.
And thoughts, and also feedback on these two laptops. So if you remember from last year's Computex, ASUS actually released a bunch of stuff. Two of them happen to be the Project Precog, and secondly is the ZenBook Pro, the first one.
The ZenBook Pro, what makes it so special is that they changed the trackpad into an actual display, touch display. Makes it you have a two display on your laptop, one a bigger one and a smaller one. And this year, they take the idea and mash it around with whatever Project Precog, ROG Zephyrus. These are the monstrosity they have come up with.
Yeah, so they came up with this design here. So you have a main big display. This is the 14-inch version, the non-Pro version.
Yes, and this one is the ZenBook Pro Duo.
Yeah, so Pro Duo comes with a 15-inch 4K display on both. This one comes with 1080p on both. That one has double touchscreen. This one only has the touchscreen at the bottom here.
Other than the size difference, the internal components also have slightly different. For example, it is using the 10th generation Intel Core processor, while this one is using the 9th generation.
Yeah, though we are not going to talk much about the performance here, so if you want to learn more, click down in the links below where I will link you to the written version of the reviews of these two laptops. So, one thing I want to focus on is the layout of the whole laptop itself. Because the top part here has been taken up by the Screenpad Plus, so they have to move both the trackpad and keyboard down. So this is reminiscent of the Zephyrus design, by the way. So trackpad is real tiny here on the ZenBook Duo, while the keyboard, this keyboard is using a netbook layout. So you can see the right shift key has been chopped down to this small part here, and yeah, overall keycap size has also decreased.
And speaking of the layout, those who are familiar with the ROG Zephyrus, they will find that the Pro Duo has literally the similar layout over here. For example, the keyboard, it has much more standardized size to it. And one more thing about this trackpad is that this ASUS number pad, where you press on this top right corner, you can switch it around into
a number pad,
a touch-based number pad.
Yeah.
Compared to 14-inch one, I would say I prefer the keyboard layout of the Pro Duo, the 15-inch one, because of slightly bigger key compared to the layout of the netbook. The Pro Duo also comes with this external wrist rest. Yeah, although this thing is external wrist rest, it is not attached by any means. So
yeah,
carrying it around can become a hassle. Yep.
Yeah, and there's no proper way to stow it away or to match the angles of the laptop. So you have to dedicate some space in your bag to stuff it in.
Yes.
And another thing that we should mention is the angle of the Ergo Lift hinge. So because you have two screens, to make both screens viable option to be used, so you have this really steep angle here.
Yes. Compared to all the other ZenBooks, Ergo Lift, the Duo series have exceptionally higher the lift, let's say.
I would give it about 10 to 15 degrees lift.
Yes.
So that is much more drastic than any ASUS laptop that we've used before. So in terms of user experience, these two screens are really useful. So I posted on Facebook and asked around what's the potential use of the second monitor here. So for me personally, I would use it as a jukebox for my Spotify, so I just leave the whole window at the bottom there. And I can also leave half of the bottom screen, which is called the Screenpad Plus now, for my YouTube, although it's still a bit cropped. And then you can put in another document on the right side there for easy referencing on whatever that I'm doing, especially for writing the review of this laptop. And then some of you also said that you can draw on it. So this ZenBook Duo series also comes with a stylus here, so you can use it to write on the Screenpad Plus itself. And then I also use it to have my messaging apps at the bottom, so like Messenger, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram. I can put it down there for, again, easy referencing. And the most important one for me, as a video editor, my Premiere Pro timeline. I find it really nice to just put my timeline there and maximize my whatever I'm previewing on the main screen in full size, and that's very useful.
Yes, when we bring the same kind of concept to the 15-inch variant, I find the same kind of user experience from yours as well. Even though yours is using a 1080p display, the one we have on the Pro Duo is running on 4K resolution, which means the image is a little bit more sharper, especially when you do photo editing, because I work on Adobe Lightroom. When I zoom into the photos, I can see a lot more details, and especially the screen on the ZenBook Pro Duo is touch capable. That means the screen is glass instead of a matte matte display.
I realized that as well. This is matte display.
The ZenBook Duo is using matte display. The Pro Duo is 4K touch, so they are using glass display. That means that images on this panel will look a lot more sharper compared to that one. Well, some creators they want to have more details on their screen. They might find this screen is a better choice for them. And of course, with the 4K screen, you can put a lot more stuff in it. Depends on your scaling.
And one more thing, this one you can touch around.
Yes,
which is good. This one, no.
And you are pretty much rely on the trackpad or a mouse for this. But at least this one you see a trackpad, mouse or touch. But well, to each of their own. We have all different ways to use it.
Can I?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay.
You can actually use the ASUS pen on the display, but because of the material on the pen nib,
it doesn't
doesn't play well with the glossy kind of surface. So you can only use it with the matte surface on the Screenpad Plus here.
Yeah, okay. Despite last year's ZenBook Pro being a first-gen device with the first ever Screenpad, ASUS once again revamped the entire thing, and this is once again a first-gen product for the Screenpad Plus. And the first gen here is very important because there are lots of glaring issues. Firstly, the ergonomics, especially on the ZenBook Duo here. Wow, I find my neck to be really painful after like half an hour of usage. So to look at the main screen, I have to sit back like this. This is perfectly fine, ergonomic enough. But if I want to look at the Screenpad Plus, I will have to do this, which is not fun.
Well, in other sense, although you still can, look at the screen from this certain angle, but sometimes from this angle, if you look from the screen from extreme angles, you'll find your details to be not that accurate, especially color sometimes. And not to mention that this is a matte display, it will diffract the lights in a way. So sometimes you'll find the image to be grey out, the text is not that sharp. And although they tried to fix it with the added height on the ergo lift, but I still find they could have done slightly better in a way that. So for me, the same goes to the Screenpad Plus. My complaint is not just about the Screenpad Plus, it's more about the pen itself. The reason why I include the pen is so that you can use it to draw or write on the Screenpad Plus. Number one, they don't have any space to store the pen. That means that you have to throw this inside your bag or somewhere else. Otherwise, it's not like your Samsung Galaxy Note series, you can just keep the pen inside the device itself. This one, you might lose it if you just misplace it.
And another glaring issue is that ASUS included the pen, but they did not include any extra tips. So if this one wears out, and it will wear out because of the matte display on the Screenpad Plus, then you have to buy another pen, I guess.
Yeah, and of course I like the premium build quality of the pen itself, but the aluminium build is not exactly friendly to your touchscreen, because if you happen to leave the pen on the Screenpad Plus, well, the Screenpad Plus is going to recognize it and then start to register all the touch. And also another complaint about the pen, the lift-off distance is bad because of how you place your hand like this and write.
Even though if you just lift it up a bit, then it will detect your palm instead of the pen tip. Second issue, I think it's more to do with the firmware itself, is the Screenpad Plus. Each time you plug and unplug the power jack, the brightness resets to 50%.
Yes, not just that. Sometimes even with a restart of the device, it will still reset to 50%. So perhaps a minor change to it can solve this. But from our perspective is that the software on the Screenpad Plus is very
First gen
at its infant stage. Well,
I would say that the Screenpad Plus currently, because of its angle and the ergonomics, you can only use it at 100%. Anything less than 100% brightness, you won't even be able to see anything off the screen.
Yes, especially when I have this gorgeous 4K main display, which have vivid colors and bright display. When you compare it side by side with the not so impressive Screenpad Plus, well, in a way, you appreciate the main display more.
True. And then the last main issue that I have with the Screenpad Plus here is going to be the companion app, which ASUS is calling it the Screen Expert.
Well, the purpose of the Screen Expert is to help you to organize all your windows, and if you have certain kind of apps that can support to place all this positioning, they will help you to organize all this stuff and save your positioning, by the way. So the next time when you launch all those apps, just a single press, it will arrange everything according to your requirements.
Yeah.
Then again, not everything is perfect and dandy, especially for first gen product right here.
My first complaint is that there is a floating button on the Screenpad Plus itself on the far left edge. For some reason, ASUS make it clickable. This one.
Yes.
You can click with your mouse, which I think it shouldn't happen, because if you are putting some other windows on that area, you will accidentally click it, especially if you have your taskbar there as well. Me personally, I use my taskbars on the left side, so this thing is annoying. And secondly, whenever you just close the laptop, make it go to sleep or whatever, actually, you don't even have to go to sleep. Just close your display, open it back up. The whole Screenpad Plus itself will act as if the HDMI cable has been plugged out and plug it back in again. So all of your windows, all of your arrangement will be messed up entirely.
Now, enough complaints about the Screenpad Plus Screen Expert application here. To be honest, other than those software issues which can be fixed easily, the hardware we have inside is pretty impressive.
This is using the Intel Core i7-10510U. So this is a 10th gen processor. I don't know how to pronounce the numbers, but fine, whatever. And it's also using an NVIDIA MX250 GPU. And the performance that comes out of it is actually pretty good, especially the thermals, because you have two fans at the bottom there, where you can see there is just one array of holes here for the intake, and there are two fans that blows out from the back here. You can't see it because it's hidden under the hinge here.
On the other hand, the ZenBook Pro Duo here, we are using the 9th generation Intel Core i7-9750H. So this is a proper powerful Core i7 chip compared to the U series, a low power chip over there. Because the main reason is that this Pro Duo is meant for those creators and high demanding developers use. So even the graphics inside here is using the NVIDIA RTX 2060. And with that said, cooling is very important for the ZenBook Pro Duo here. And as you can see from the image here, you can know that they have a lot of heat pipes and two massive fans that helps to cool down the CPU and GPU.
And speaking of that, the heat pipes are also important here, because you can see they even care about the VRMs. There are dedicated heat pipes for the VRM on both the 14 and 15 inch. Even though there are two different screens here on both of these laptops, the battery life is fantastic. I don't know how they do it. This one comes with a 70 watt-hour battery, and it can last for more than 8 hours on heavy chrome use, with YouTube and some other document on these two parts of the Screenpad Plus here.
Yes, more than 8 hours is a very impressive thread, and consider that this one comes with a RTX 2060 and as well as a 9750H Intel Core i7, which is not exactly battery friendly. The 71 watt-hour battery can last me for like 4 to 5 hours of heavy use with Chrome. Yeah, we all know Chrome is a memory hogger. 4 to 5 hours is very impressive on this device. Consider that all the mainstream gaming laptops with 2060 and as well as 9750H can barely last through 3 hours of use.
Honestly, I really like the ZenBook Duo series. Especially with the 14-inch, I like the footprint of it, but the ergonomics is still an issue for me, and for the next generation, I would like to see some drastic changes to address this issue. Firstly, they can fix it by just making this part detachable and make it tiltable upwards. So if it's tiltable upwards, then it can aim towards my eyes better and I don't have to go back and forth. And overall, I would say that even the brightness of the Screenpad Plus can be lowered and the sharpness can be better. Perhaps they don't even have to use a matte screen at all. And then secondly, remove the trackpad. Because you already have the Project Precog there, I would say throw away the trackpad, maybe include a wireless mouse inside the box itself. And then I can use double touch screens and that would be just fantastic. Because ASUS already developed the Screen Expert, which when you drag up the window, you can see this thing pop up, and to put into this option, it will automatically throw the window to the Screenpad Plus. So I would say throwing away the trackpad is a viable option here.
Well, to me, my feedback will be a lot more easier. Well, ASUS, just bring your Project Precog to life, please. Throw away the whole keyboard and the trackpad section, make it a dual screen device, just like what Microsoft has shown off recently. You see, that is a proper way because Microsoft Windows itself already have built-in multi-screen management tools and everything. So although the Screen Expert widgets is very useful, like what we have demonstrated just now, sometimes those widgets can be a little bit finicky because it is not OS level integration.
True. Before we conclude, we need to talk about the price first. So for the ZenBook Duo UX481F that we have here, the 14-inch version, this one comes in two different configurations, either in Core i5 or Core i7. So the Core i5 starts at 4,699 ringgit, while the Core i7 is at 5,699 ringgit. I would say for the price that it gives and the specs that it offers, it's kind of high, but you have to consider that the Screenpad Plus is here as well. So there is no real benchmark against what other laptops that it can compete against, but I would say it depends on the value that it gives, and so far, other than the ergonomics issue again, I would say it's pretty good.
And on the other hand, the ZenBook Pro Duo has two different variants. The one we have here is the Intel Core i7 variant, which is priced at 12,999 ringgit. Of course, they have another higher end, which is using the Intel Core i9. That one will set you back for
15,999 ringgit.
Oof. Oh, yeah, that is double from the price of this, more than double of the price of the ZenBook Duo. But the Pro, well, comes with better internal hardware, 4K screen, a secondary Screenpad Plus for your Premiere Pro timeline or your Adobe Lightroom grids and all the stuff tools you have. Well, like what Koki has mentioned just now, there's no other laptop that we can compare with. I mean, consider if they have a secondary screen on board to begin with. So I would say the extra price you're paying here is to get that different level of user experience.
Justified?
Whether the price is justifiable is entirely up to the user. And because some of the users deem that the secondary screen on the laptop is way more important than that few thousand ringgit they are paying. So at the end of the day, it still comes back to the user's personal requirement.
True. So I think that's the conclusion of this whole discussion video of the ZenBook Duo series of laptops. And do let us know what would be your use case if you have a secondary display like this on your laptop. And that is all that we have for this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye!